What's up, guys? It's your boys Wokey back out with some more of the Chris Watts and Nicole Kessinger video. And apparently I have to make this video for the people in the back that can't hear, or the people that want to sit there and slander Shanann Watts because they think that the evidence supports that Chris and Nicole are completely innocent. And I'm like, what? I mean, the evidence was stacked into a pile that could have been locked them both away for years. They got one, but they don't have the other. So with that being said, the evidence was stacked, plus the information that we're about to show you of more information that we've been collecting over the course of, I don't know, the last year of me taking on this case back in October. And we're going to do a quick little, I wouldn't say summary, but all the evidence in one place. If I miss anything when it comes to evidence, please let me know down in the comments, guys. But we were going to be watching Miss Jade, another YouTube channel that I definitely do enjoy watching. She's got great content. I've watched her on quite a bit of her stuff before. She hasn't posted in a little bit of time, so hopefully everything's okay. But we're going to be watching The Evidence Was Stacked, including, as of right now, the stuff that I'm adding as well. But before we go any further, if you guys could subscribe to the YouTube channel by hitting that wiper icon down at the bottom right, hit that bell icon next to it, so when I do post videos like this one, you guys will get that little ring notification that I've posted that video, and then you guys can watch, comment, like, and share. And again, thank you so very much for the love and support that you guys show on here. And I know there are going to be people in the comments going, oh, here we go again, some more of the Chris Watt. You know what? We've actually found some very, very interesting things over the past month, and I feel that it's getting there. But little pieces that we're finding here and there, we're finding those little needle in the haystack of evidence, and eventually, when it's all compiled together, it should break this case wide open. I mean, that's what we're hoping. But again, I digress. With that being said, let's get into the video. And again, don't forget to check out Miss J down in the description below. Her link is in the bottom for you guys to click and watch her as well. So, or subscribe, comment, like, and share. And let's get into it. And again, I'm going to add things to this because there are people that are just coming in and just finding out about some stuff that we found out the other day about the Vivint security system and so forth like that. That's like really worrisome. So,
Scott, how you doing?
How's it going?
If looks could kill, oh
So
yeah.
you gonna think about leaving, moving out?
Not moving out. I mean, last time talked to her was this morning. She said she's going to take the kids to a friend's house, and then she asked where she was going to be. And then I texted her today. I've never heard anything, but the car's here.
Usually when my fiance tells me that she's going anywhere, she tells me who she's going with, what time she's going to come back. Do I ask her for that information? No. But she's giving me all that information just in case anything happens. I could know where she's at. So, this man right here, the people that defend Chris Watts, you see it?
Right.
Here, unless somebody came and picked her up. But the people that I know, nobody's heard from her, nobody's seen her.
And the funny thing is the way that he talks, which is like stupidity, is the same that Nicole Kessinger does.
Right.
Oh, the man that just looking at him, just like, it's like watching the pinwheel, like of something downloading, and it just keeps going, keeps going, keeps going. It's literally what it's like watching Chris and Nicole like talk and try to figure out something to come up with. The drone footage is actually at the same time that Chris was took his lie detector and about to confess to his dad and Tammy and so forth like that. What's scaring is he's opening it up, not able to see inside because Bella, I do believe, was floating in the middle. Cece was unfortunately at the bottom. People do want to ask if they were alive when they dropped in. No, it was confirmed that they were not alive when they dropped in, which is, it doesn't make anything better because of how they were mistreated and thrown away like yesterday's trash because of their monstrous father. And the hole that he dropped him in, again, was the size of a paper plate. Like, we're talking, like, he had to, like, but yet there's Team Chris. People. Really? And somebody tells me that there's no cameras out here, but I don't know. There's some stuff out here that looks like cameras. Anadarko did say that they had 400 cameras, and like 100 of them were on the actual building itself. The other ones were all located throughout every single survey that they had, which was like, okay, so where's the cameras at Survey 319? We still have heard nothing. It's like a ghost town. Here we see the trash bag, the 2 trash bags from the foot and the head. We see the blanket that was used to wrap her up in. There was a shovel. There was a rake. For some reason, the rake had the tip broken off. There was footprints that were found around this area that was Shanann's gravesite for the temporary because of Mr. Monster. I didn't see them doing any casts, any footprint casts. They did do a footprint, what is it called? Not capture, but they footprinted Chris. You can see it when he's in the jail cell. So why would they be footprinting him if he's the murderer?
What was the name of the company again?
I'm guessing collecting of evidence, but that still doesn't make sense. You're trying to find the footprint to compare it to the footprint that was there, but what about the other footprint?
Lebel, Lebel.
Where are
There's
they
the
based
sheet.
out of?
But they don't have like a, yeah, they don't have like an office. It's just all.
Does she have someone that she reports to though?
She has her leaders, but they're both in northeast part of the country. Like that, she has Addie Maloney. She has Amanda Aikman. She has Sam Paisley.
And just the way that he's cool, calm, and collected right now, like he thought he was getting away with
Do you
it.
have her phone number? Yeah.
Looking at his phone to see if Nikki texted him. The look of a murderer. Annihilator.
What'd you say her last name was?
And then to know, what was it? 5 years later, the cops would be in the exact same spot again because of what happened with the new. Oh, I couldn't imagine what they're like. Oh, your neighbor has cameras? Come over and check these out. I bet he was freaking.
I'll see if I can get on that USA app or Chase app. See if I can get on it, please. I'll see.
And then here's the daughter that's down here in the bottom left. When they said on what was it, Netflix, they thought it was the ghost of one of the children, Bella or Celeste. It's just her daughter.
I will. All right.
Where does she normally go to?
I mean, just like drive where like she would normally take the kids to school. People that I know that live down, people that live, Kristen lives down that way. I mean, that's the only routes I know she really take.
She go to their house frequently, or?
I mean, the way that he looks, it just is like, I'm going to see if I can give this to the officer and see if they take the bait. And he thinks they're taking the bait. We're just going to kind of skip a little bit of this, guys, just because I know you guys have seen it. If you guys would like to see it, I have tons of videos on my my channel.
I thought nothing.
Nothing for the rest of the day.
No, that's it.
And then the commercial on here. I mean, could you get almost a more perfect commercial that's literally showing signs that Chris did this and his mistress was involved? I mean, there's a woman in here, but again, we could relay it to be her, but baby, oil, deceased, buried. I mean, it's just, it was called Apocalypse.
She's pregnant as well.
How far along?
14, 15
See, he even looked at the screen. Oh, she's pregnant.
weeks.
Oil. Look at him. Look at him.
That's
Oh,
why her friend said it was low blood sugar.
Did you guys get into an argument before she left?
It wasn't like an argument. We had an emotional conversation, but I'll leave it at that. But it's
so he called it a fight. Then he calls it an emotional conversation. Do you really think that they even talked? Because I necessarily think they just went to sleep. I don't think they had intercourse because obviously the autopsies did find out or showed that they didn't sleep together. She possibly was drugged again. So it could have been the oxycodone to help her or to make her too relaxed, which would have made her sick the first time in North Carolina, which he probably did again the second time because they saw oxycodone down in the basement in some bins. But could he have given her some of that drug again? Because there was some, I wouldn't say toxicity levels in her system, which I keep reiterating, it wasn't her drinking alcohol. Her body, when it started going into decomp, released some of that can show the same factors. She wouldn't have drank. She knew she was pregnant. She's not stupid. Like, people are they're like, oh, she's a bad mom because she had drugs and stuff. Really? She was in decomp because of this stupid man, and you want to blame her? How does that make sense?
I just want them back.
Laughing.
I just want them to come back. And if they're not safe right now, that's what's tearing me apart. Because if they are safe, they're coming back. But if they're not, this has got to stop. Like, somebody has to come forward.
That interview was probably the most idiotic interviews I've ever seen, besides the Jennifer or the Jen Soto one. That was pretty bad too. But this one, like, none of it made sense. I just want them to come back. Somebody's got to come forward. Or how do you say it?
Safe right now, that's what's tearing me apart. Because if they are safe, they're coming back. But if they're not, this has got to stop. Like,
That just, it wasn't worded right.
somebody has to come forward.
But yeah, people, oh, I know you have an innocent face. Or in my perspective, he's got a dumb face because he is an idiot for annihilating his family. He had some rough marks on his neck right here. He possibly had a lip indentation. Some people thought this wasn't because of whatever. It was because he was doing this because he was so nervous. I don't know if that's legit. Again, we all have to speculate because they didn't really collect the evidence and then document it and then, like, get it ready for trial, because the case didn't go to trial. Once he confessed, they said they were done. That's why he didn't go anywhere. So we got his handprint. What about Nicole's handprint? Got his fingerprints. I think they also got his toe or his feet and his toes. still, there's no way you can fit a pregnant woman in the back. And then somebody's like, no, they put him in the back of the truck. Where do you see any room? Do you see any room for that? No. He said he put her on the floorboard of the truck where the girl sat on top. Again, there was gas cans, there was shovels, and all that crap inside here. There's 2 shovels to be exact up here, because he said we grabbed the shovels. You can listen to the interrogation. We grabbed the shovels. Not I grabbed the shovels, we. Who's we? Oh, man. It's like you gotta, like, literally tell this to people, and they're still Team Chris. Okay, so when Shanann came home, the Wi-Fi router that almost, like, what, 99% of people have nowadays, said that it was connected, or wait, Shanann's phone connected with the Wi-Fi provided by South Airlines. Okay, that's when it hooked up to the Wi-Fi there. Shanann told Cassie they had landed, okay, which was at 1:25 in the morning. This is the last outgoing communication found on Shanann's phone. I'm surprised she didn't call Chris to let her know, or let him know. Watt's phone logged the Vivint alert of Shanann's entry into their home at 1:48. At that same moment, the Vivint video monitor captured Shanann as she walked up to the home, which we saw, and entered. Untoff was captured backing out of the driveway, or Nicole Atkinson. Between the hours of 1:48 and 4:23 hours, there was no movement detection on the main floor of the home per the Vivint security system. In a group text, often told Cassie, "We are home." Shanann's phone activity is otherwise dormant until 7:40, when Watts sent the device a staged message pretending not to know where she was at. So unless he left the phone there or he took her phone with, is definitely very interesting, to say the least, as well. I'd like to know if he took her phone. After the briefing, I walked over to the small, shallow grave where Chris's wife, Shanann Watts, had been exhumed the night before. There was an orange traffic cone near the open grave. I then assisted the CBI crime scene unit with conducting a grid search of the field surrounding the tank's batteries. Items of potential evidence were flagged with bright color stakes. I also assisted with conducting a search of the area outside of the barbed wire fence surrounding the oil well site, but nothing was located. I do believe that they found upchuck, which they said they grabbed and tested, but who knows. The weeds and sunflowers were thick, and it did not appear blankets and stuffed animals, previously mentioned by Chris Watts, having been left near Shanann's grave, could have traveled that far in the wind. After the grid search was completed, I assisted with additional digging around Shanann's gravesite with shovels in an attempt to locate Bella and Celeste's blankets and stuffed animals. No blankets or stuffed animals were located because he threw them away. A short time later, Weld County Deputy Coroner Joey Weiner and forensic pathologist Dr. Michael Burson arrived on the scene to assist with the recovery efforts. Again, the reason why I'm reading it is because I have some blind supporters. So obviously we're going to see a whole bunch of footprints now because they had to exhume Shanann. But again, to see how small of a shallow grave that she was buried in. On Thursday, August 16th, 2018, I don't know if you guys can read this, if it's not squished enough. Here we go. Okay. I responded to Rogan, Colorado, where I met with CBI agent Stacy Galbraith, CBI agent in charge Kirby Lewis, CBI crime scene supervisor Dave Maloney, and CBI crime scene assistant Caitlin Schroeder. I'm bad with names again. I'm sorry, guys. I also met with members of the Colorado State Patrol Hazard Materials sections to include Sergeant Luke Armstrong, Trooper Otto Wilson, and Trooper Ted Bandy. The CSP Hazmat unit was asked to assist the CBI with the recovery of Bella and Celeste from the tank batteries. I could not imagine what they saw and what they were, or what was seen. The location of the recovery was Survey 319, which was identified through GPS coordinates as blank, blank, blank. You guys can see it right there. The location was an oil well site, which was leased by Anadarko Petroleum. Anadarko was also the employer of Chris Watts. We were also escorted to the oil site located north of Rogan, Colorado, by Anadarko employee Gerald Manning. So another thing too to look into that I found, that apparently there was a set demolition of Survey 319 in September. That's very odd. But then later, the place of the Survey 319 was destroyed or demolished in December. It was not relocated, but it was initiated for demolition from September to December, which is kind of ironic that they wanted to destroy it in September and he deposited them in August. Was he depositing them there and then it was going to get destroyed, and then it would have been, where did they go? I'm just throwing that out there, not saying it's factual. After arriving at the site, we met with CBI agent scene analyst David Yoakum, Frederick Police Department Detective Dave Baumhover, and Frederick Police Officer Scott Coonrod, and numerous employees of Anadarko Petroleum, DT Welding, Northern Plains Trucking, blah, 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 blah. During the briefing, we were informed that the east tank battery contained approximately 9 feet of crude oil, and the west tank contained approximately 1.4 feet of crude oil. Schlissler advised they would first empty the east tank. Again, I could not imagine what they had to go through because of all this. And again, paper plate size. Was fingerprints taken from the lids? What about the railings? Was it compared with Miss Nicole Kessinger? All these guys, I couldn't imagine. They're going to need therapy. The thief hatch, which is the opening at the top, was approximately 8 inches in diameter. This dimension was recorded and photographed on scene. After several hours of draining, the east tank was low enough to allow the removal of the mainway cover, which is that big square one that had all the bolts on. On the north side of the tank, DT Welding employees removed most of the bolts holding the mainway cover in place due to the high flammable hazards. CSP hazmat troopers removed the following bolts and cover. Once the cover was removed, 2 troopers donned PPE, which is like protective suits, and entered the tank at approximately 15:45 hours, which is 3:45, and recovered the bodies of the adolescent female. After troopers placed the descent into a containment pool located directly outside the tank, a Wiggins firefighter, and transferred the body to an area where Chief Deputy Coroner Jolene Weiner and forensic pathologist Michael Burson could perform a preliminary examination. So they did it right there. Or not all of it, but just a preliminary examination. At the opening of the tank, I noticed what appeared to be a degloved skin from the descendant's hand and asked one of the troopers to hand it to me. As he did notice the fingernails were still matched, I informed Joey of this and transferred custody of the skin to her. But yet there's people that are still Team Chris. Based on several photos I viewed previously and information about the girls' bedtime, and their autopsy reports are signed, sealed, and locked away for the next 50 years. Nobody can touch them. Disclosed in his interview, I believe the descendant was Celeste Watts. It assisted Joey in securing the descendant onto a gurney and placing her into the coroner's vehicle. After closing the mainway on the east tank, DT Welding employees began removing the majority of the bolts from the west tank. The oil from that tank was drained in the same manner as the east tank, excluding the use of the valves located on the south side of the tank. The oil was allowed to drain slowly into the catch pan from the main way door and then evacuated through a strainer. They wanted to make sure they got everything out of that oil. So this is everything that they have grabbed from Survey 319, the victims that were there, the suspect, the clothing, all the evidence that we have seen before. But again, there was things that were collected that was not used because they didn't go to trial. If you look up in the dictionary what stupid is, Chris Watts' picture is there. So autopsy reports, which we have looked at before, link is in the description. I don't want to get into it. Again, right here, blood alcohol concentrate. This is because, and the ethanol is because of her decomposing. Stop trying to find problems in Shanann. She didn't do anything wrong. She literally came home from her trip, thought everything was fine besides her and Chris having some problems. She didn't think this was going to happen. It really sucks to look at those autopsy reports. I'm not going to look at them again because I just don't want to look at them again, just to know that these three were in this crime. Oh, look. There was ethanol and certain things that were inside one of the child's body. We're not going to sit there and say that she was drinking. You idiots. The ones that sit there and keep blaming Shanann. Well, they keep calling me idiot, so why can't I call them one? Okay, let's read this. Hopefully, if it gets too much, I'm not going to read it. At the tops of both shoulders of the children, Dr. Burson pointed out several important findings. Dr. Burson advised Bella's the skin that's connected at the top of the gum right here was torn, which created a large hole. The inside of Bella's gums and inner lip was appeared bruised, and it appeared Bella had bit into her tongue because she was struggling to breathe. But yet, Team Chris, right? Those people that think that Chris is innocent. Dr. Burson indicated Bella's injuries were consistent with hard downward pressure on her nose. So somebody pressed down on her face to smother her. It wasn't just like in his hands. There was downward force. But there's people that are Team Chris, right? It just makes me irritated. On her nose and mouth, Dr. Burson indicated Bella's death was violent as it appeared she struggled to get away. But Chris loves his kids, right? Dr. Burson's preliminary cause of death for Bella was asphyxiation due to manual smothering. Dr. Burson did not note any bruising or injury to Bella's neck. So nothing happened here. It was here, in this vicinity. The final autopsy performed was on the 3-year-old. Celeste was dressed in a pink nightgown, Minnie Mouse underwear, and a pull-up. The nightgown and underwear were collected as evidence. Celeste had a large amount of skin slippage. Celeste did not have any obvious signs of injury or bruising to her neck area. I also did not observe any injuries to Celeste's mouth or face, to include petegia or patatage. Man, I can't pronounce things. Dr. Burson advised Celeste's preliminary cause of death was asphyxiation due to manual smothering. Dr. Burson also measured the hip and shoulder width of Bella and Celeste and advised the smallest width was Celeste at 9.5 inches. The hole was 8. I was aware the opening to the hatch of it was only 8 inches in diameter. But there's people that are Team Chris, right? During Shanann's autopsy, Dr. Burson pointed out several important findings. I do apologize, I'm reading these, but again, there are people that I'm trying to attend to. Shanann's hyroid bone was not broken. I do believe this is the hyroid bone. Wait, I can't remember. Although he pointed out bruising to the soft tissue on the right side of the thigh or hyroid bone. Dr. Burson also noted bruising to the muscles and tissue in Shanann's neck. Well, probably didn't help that she wasn't in an accident. Dr. Burson advised he did not know any other trauma to Shanann's body and found no evidence of disease. Dr. Burson advised Shanann's preliminary cause of death was asphyxiation due to manual strangulation. The second autopsy performed was on the 4-year-old Bella, was dressed in a pink nightgown covered in butterflies, a pair of underwear, which were removed and collected as evidence. Bella also had a large amount of skin slippage. I hope that people that are listening that keep saying that Team Chris, that we need to fight for Chris because he's innocent, or the mother of Chris, we don't care what you did, thinks about this, the skin slippage of her granddaughters. Bella was x-rayed and there was concern she may have a broken jaw. The x-ray were sent to pediatric radiologist at the Children's Hospital, who advised it appeared to be gas in the area of the jaw and not a actual fracture. It also appeared Bella had some scrapes to her buttocks because of what the monster did by shoving her in that hole. But again, we forgive you, son. There's the dress of the butterflies. I'm just going to say it. I hope he rots in hell. I don't know if that's going to get this video banned or whatever have you, but greeting cards, so all the cards that he had towards Nicole were taken and used and so forth. We were supposed to get the ultrasound tonight, and he doesn't want the baby. He wants it aborted if he said it was okay. He said he's not having an affair. Sarah asked if Shanann is certain of the Shanann's reply. Honestly, no, but what else would make him do a complete 360? Another woman. Josh Rosenberg asked Watts if he was excited for the ultrasound. Today's the day, right? Watts replied he just returned to work and added, yep, today's the day. I'm excited. Watts confirmed the ultrasound was at 1900 hours, which was at 7 o'clock. Watts made an unspecified modification to Shanann's contact information in his work phone. Interesting. Kessinger search Googled on topics related to marrying your mistress. Shanann told Uptoff and Cassie Rosenberg he said we were not compatible anymore. He refused to hug me, said he thought another baby would fix his feelings, said he refused couples counseling. And yet, he is the good one, right? We forgive you, son. We don't care what you did. For the first time, Watts transferred assorted images of Kessinger, semi-nude, into the secret calculator application. Watts transferred this image to a secret calculator necklace, I presume, for Kessinger, which she's actually wearing in the photo. How ironic. But she doesn't love him. Watts took a photograph of park signs at Denver International Airport and sent messages presuming to be to Shanann at airport. Watts began transferring a massive sorted images of Kessinger and their trip to the Great Sand Dunes into a secret application. Look at all those pictures. They included these images, 5, 23, and 26. Where's all the rest of them? I would definitely like to see those other ones. Probably not, because they're probably naked Kessinger, and I don't want to see that. Among these is a video of Kessinger speaking to the camera. Thank you so much for coming out here with me, Christopher. I'm having a wonderful time. You mean a lot to me, and I'm glad you're having a blast. And then she does kissy faces to it. Watts continued taking photographs of the landscapes near the Great Sand Dunes. Watts told Shanann, finished the hike, packing up, and headed home. Watts transferred images of Kessinger to include a full nude selfie to his secret calculator. So those images right there and these Great Sand Dunes. So she had a full full nude selfie out in the sand dunes. But yeah, they were not in love. More transferring of photos. For over 2 hours, Kessinger Google searched wedding dresses and lengthy messages of Shanann, told Watts, truth came out last night. I did create no dagger between you and your dad. That was done between you by your mom and your dad, and I won't change a thing. My daughter's life is way more important, and you better believe I want to say a whole lot more than I did. But I was being the bigger person and protecting Bella. That's all she was doing, was protecting her child. That's all I see, to be honest. We attempted to have blank 4 times that evening, and he seemed mentally interested, but physically could not perform. How sad at being, 33 and couldn't perform? That sucks. I asked him what the problem was several times, and he kept telling me that nothing was wrong. I told him that he was quiet that day, and it seemed like he had nothing or had something on his mind. I asked him if something was bothering him, and I had to do with the convo that occurred the previous weekend. Chris Watts told me that initially he was mad that I had been asked out on dates. You're mad that you got asked, or she got asked out on dates, but then felt that he couldn't be mad because he would make him a hypocrite. Said that was really bothering him, that I kept asking him to try and fix things with Shanann. I doubt that. Chris Watts told me that he would attempt to fix things with her when he was in North Carolina. He didn't. And that he didn't want to talk about it anymore while he was home. The blank from then on for the rest of the relationship was greatly reduced from 3 to 4 times daily to 1 or 2 times, and was not an intimate when it occurred. Blank was no longer happening every day. We hung out, but was still frequent. We don't care. Here's more greeting cards and more crap. All the crap. Gross. Here's that spillage. Mind coming out here just in case something gets sideways?
So as the night goes
I don't think.
forward-
I think that spill was made to look like it was there.
We're out on the scene.
And then having Chris take a picture and send it to her kind of made it so that Nicole wasn't looked at like, oh, she wasn't out there because she asked for a picture. Full
Trying
of
to
crap.
recover your loved ones. So tell me again a little about that hatch. We have some guys out there who think that hatch is just too small. You think it's about what size? Let's compare it to this plate.
That's about twice the size of that.
Twice the size of this plate?
Yeah.
Okay. Now it sounds crass, but did you have to kind of squeeze them in to get them down there?
I mean, one right. I mean,
Okay.
I don't want to quite describe it, but I mean, it's
Yeah.
like
Feet first or head first?
feet.
Okay. And then were their arms like this, or were their arms like this? Because you're holding your arms. Okay. All right. So I know we've asked you 1,000 times, and you're probably getting sick of it, but we're very, very concerned about how to get those kids out.
He doesn't want to talk about him.
You can imagine
Oh,
you can't really
Celeste.
cut a hole in that tank because the sparks will blow something.
Yeah.
So I just want to make very sure that you're 100% sure that they're in there.
That's probably the only time that he actually told the
One
truth
one,
in his
one the other.
that
That doesn't
confession.
make sense to me. Why would you?
I wasn't making at this point in time. I was scared out of my mind. I didn't know what to do.
Okay. So you carried one up, put her in. Did you shut it?
It just flashes.
Okay. Oh, it's just a latch.
Yeah.
And then went back down, got the other one, went up the different tower. Is that how it works?
Same staircase.
Oh, it's the same to get up to both?
Yeah.
Okay. And but they're 2 different tanks?
Yes.
Okay.
So he took them separately.
Okay. All right. And you didn't have to I know it's gross, but you don't have to.
No.
Nothing like that. Okay. All right.
Again, I hope this man rots in HE double hockey sticks. So, for the people that are probably watching my page, checking to see if I'm talking about this or somebody or whatever have you, for those people that are Team Chris, are you Team Chris still? Because I would definitely love to know why you think defending this monster is okay. Or defending Nicole is okay. Why do you think it's okay? You can be non-bullying about your response. I just would like to know, why are you supporting Chris and or supporting Nicole Kessinger? And why are we still continuously degrading and trying to make Shanann look like the one that was at fault when she was far, far, far from bringing anything of a fault? She was the victim. Nico, Bella, Celeste, they were victims. The Ruseks were victims. I'm not even going to get into the Watts family right now, but I would love to know you guys' partake about this down in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button for the obvious reasons that hopefully all this information that we collect and gather and talk about, hopefully will do something in the future. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one. So please take care, be safe, and as always, keep nerding on, and we'll see you guys in the next video.